Year after year after year, Apple's iPhone has always had the most powerful chip in any smartphone, and that's something we can expect Apple to brag about at every iPhone event. And in the past couple of years, Apple's chips have gotten so good that the latest Android phones like the Pixel 6 Pro are being beaten out by 2-year-old iPhones like the iPhone 11 in various tests, which is absolutely ridiculous. And the lead gets even crazier when comparing graphics performance, with the 13 Pro being almost twice as fast. But within the last couple of weeks, some new challengers in the smartphone chip game have emerged, namely the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 and the MediaTek 9000, which are taking the tech world by storm. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why Apple should be worried about these two new chips, because if they don't act fast and fix the current biggest problem with the iPhone's chip design, then the iPhone 14 Pro is gonna be in huge trouble. So before I get into those new chips and how truly impressive they are, let's talk about that major problem. With last year's iPhone 12 Pro, we noticed major overheating issues, especially while gaming, which would cause the display to dim like crazy in games like Genshin Impact. And it would even cause the FPS to drop, which signals severe thermal throttling. And we even had these major issues while not playing games, like when Max was trying to operate his drone outside, causing display dimming so bad that Max crashed his drone because he couldn't see what was going on. But thankfully, this year it got a lot better, like in this hands-on comparison where we ran some benchmarks showing just how bad the dimming was on the iPhone 12 lineup compared to the new 13. And because of those crazy overheating issues, the same exact A14 chip from the iPhone 12 was actually 6% faster in terms of multi-core performance when it was inside the iPad Air 4, which can only be explained by Apple capping the performance on the iPhone so it doesn't overheat. But wait, it gets even worse in terms of graphics performance, because the iPad Air 4 was an absolutely insane 37% faster than the iPhone 12 Pro Max. And yes, that's with the same A14 chip. Now thankfully, the new A15 chip in the iPhone 13 lineup handles heat a lot better, and in my experience, the display no longer dims in a lot of the common games I tested, like Call of Duty Mobile, League of Legends Wild Rift, and Pokemon Unite. However, I recently made a video where I played Genshin Impact and Pascal's Wager with 120 FPS mode turned on to take advantage of the new 120Hz ProMotion feature on the new iPhone 13 Pro. And the issue I found was that the display still dimmed just after 10 minutes in Genshin Impact, and it dimmed twice in Pascal's Wager, getting extremely dark from the overheating. And the worst part of all was that the iPhone software was doing something weird where it would jump back and forth between 120 and 60 FPS without allowing anything in between, which was very annoying. So what I did was I tested Razer's new MagSafe iPhone cooler to cool the back of the iPhone, and it worked like a dream with absolutely zero display dimming in either of the games. And after a 10-minute run of Pascal's Wager, the hottest spot on the iPhone was just 37 degrees Celsius compared to 44 degrees without using the phone cooler. And then when we compared the final results, our average FPS rose by 10% while using the cooler compared to no cooler, which basically proves that the new A15 chip is being held back by overheating issues. And if you're wondering just how much is being held back, it's actually a lot. The A14 chip within the iPad Air 4 scores as much as 12,488 points in Geekbench 5's Metal Test, which is actually quite a bit faster than the 4-core version of the new A15 chip in the iPhone 13, which honestly should never happen, but it does because of thermal throttling. It's actually only the 5-core GPU version of the A15 within the 13 Pro that beats out the iPad Air, but only by around 15%. But the really disappointing thing is that if you just added another core to the A14 chip within the iPad Air to match the 5 cores on the A15, it would actually outperform it by a huge margin, scoring up to 15,600 points. So the point that I'm trying to make is that the number one thing that's holding back the performance of Apple's iPhone chips is overheating and thermal throttling. And meanwhile, a lot of Android phones like the Galaxy S21 Ultra are already implementing vapor chamber cooling systems that greatly help control the thermals, and that's why the back remained so cool and the display did not dim at all while playing Genshin Impact. So with all that said, Apple absolutely needs some sort of a vapor chamber cooling system inside of the iPhone 14 Pro, or they're gonna hit a performance wall and get overrun by the competition. And let me tell you, these recent benchmarks from the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 and the MediaTek 9000 should make Apple worried. So let's jump right into that. While that new Snapdragon chip isn't coming anywhere close to Apple in terms of CPU benchmark scores, the graphics side of the chip is incredible. According to a new benchmark testing video by Technic on YouTube, the new chip was actually able to outperform the A15 in 3D Mark's Wildlife benchmark, which is mind-blowing because the iPhone was already almost twice as fast as the previous competition. So I looked up some more tests online, and to my surprise, the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 was almost neck and neck with the new iPhone 13 Pro, which is something that hasn't happened in years because, as you can see, even the iPhone 12 is beating out all of the other Android phones. And it just sucks to know that the only reason the iPhone lost in that 3D Mark benchmark is because of thermal throttling issues that are limiting the performance. So Apple could easily fall behind unless they fix these issues. But making things worse, the new MediaTek 9000 chip got a huge improvement in terms of multi-core CPU performance, now outperforming every other Android phone chip on the market, including the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip. But when we compare it to the iPhone, the new MediaTek is the first chip to beat out the iPhone 12 lineup, and is just inches away from the performance of the iPhone 13 mini, which is slower than the Pro because the smaller chassis has even more thermal throttling issues than the larger 13 Pro. So it's kind of crazy to think that MediaTek, a company known for making low-end chips, just came out with their first iteration of a true flagship chip, and it's almost neck and neck with Apple's new A15 within the iPhone 13 mini. And it's all because Apple is struggling to keep the chip cool. Now, of course, Apple's A16 chip next year will further their performance lead in both CPU and GPU tests, but if they can't figure out a great cooling solution to stop these overheating issues, then there's a chance that for the first time in many, many years, they could actually fall behind their competitors who are already implementing vapor chamber cooling systems. So hopefully you learned something new in this video, and if you disagree with any of my thoughts, then go ahead and comment them down below. But if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click the circle above to subscribe for more videos like this one, and check out one of those two right over there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.